Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I'm not a real estate agent, and as an investor, why maybe you shouldn't be one too. A lot of people talk about how being a real estate agent will make it a lot easier to be an investor, or there might be some benefits to being an agent while you're investing. My goal is to teach you that the average person can reach financial independence in less than 10 years, even if you're not starting from the best position. I was a single parent with 3 kids in a lot of debt, and I wasn't making a lot of money, and I was still able to do it in less than 10 years. So the question that this video is going to answer is, if I was a real estate agent, would it have been faster for me to reach financial independence? Would it have been easier? Or would it have even made a difference at all? When I first decided that I was going to invest in rental properties to reach financial independence, I was living in this house, and my debt-to-income ratio wasn't great. I wasn't sure if I could handle being a landlord, a single parent, and working full-time. So to test the waters and to help my debt-to-income ratio, I moved into an apartment, turned this house into a rental. The first year went horribly because I didn't have any systems in place, and I rented to a friend and made every mistake that you could think of. Once I found BiggerPockets and I got my systems in place and I realized that I could handle being a landlord, working full-time while raising kids, I moved into this duplex. This had a huge impact because I was able to live in one side and rent out the other. But there are some barriers that would have been in place if I had done what a lot of people talk about doing. The question comes up often. Should I become a real estate agent to invest in real estate? If you do it as a side job while working full-time, that's not as bad as those people that I hear about saying, I quit my job to become a real estate agent so I can invest in real estate. Because now you don't have 2 years consistent income or a very good-looking debt-to-income ratio to be able to qualify for the loans that it's going to take to actually invest in that real estate. So my first bit of advice, if you decide to become a real estate agent while you're becoming an investor, is to not quit your job to become a real estate agent thinking that you're going to be able to invest. Keep your job, keep that consistent income, keep your debt to income ratio where it needs to be, which most lenders are going to want 43% or better debt to income ratio. And at 43%, you're really kind of pushing the envelope anyways. But keep that job so that you can qualify for those first couple of mortgages till you get that consistent cash flow from those assets, and maybe build up a client base as a real estate agent in order to have a better debt to income ratio or be able to show a track record of income so that you can qualify for those loans. So it makes sense to develop a business as a real estate agent if you're going to be an investor and you want another job. But if you want to become an investor, people usually quote the wrong reasons for wanting to be a real estate agent. They say things like, I'll have access to the MLS. I'll save on my agent fees whenever I buy a property. As an investor, my strategy involved buying a property almost every other year. As the income snowball kicked in because the cash flow from those assets started to add up, I was able to buy them a little faster than every other year, and I'm at the point of about 1 a year now. So let's look at those benefits that people talk about. The first one, access to the MLS. For me, this is confusing. I always work with at least 3 agents, and I give them each the exact same criteria. I mean, copy and paste in an email, this is what I'm looking for, to those 3 agents. And when they send me the auto searches, they send me completely different deals. In 10 years, I've had 1 time where the same deal came within a 3-day period from 2 different agents. So if I had access to the MLS, I would still want auto searches set up from someone else because each agent, myself included, would be searching the MLS differently. Which brings me to the second benefit that people think that they're going to have if they're a real estate agent while they're trying to be an investor, is every time you buy a property, you're going to be paying agent fees. So since you're one of the agents, you're not going to be paying somebody else that money. But the seller pays the agent fees. So really what you're doing is negotiating down what the agent fees are going to be. That doesn't mean that the seller is going to reduce their price by that amount. And if you end up being the actual agent to get that commission, that's income. Then you're going to have taxes on that money. So let's say that you were able to save those agent fees and you were able to reduce, 3% of the purchase of the property? Is that actually going to offset some of the prices that it's going to cost you? Not just the time that it takes to be an agent, but is it going to offset the prices like these? And these are just some of the ones that I have listed out here. There's probably more, and agents can mention in the comments below some of the fees that I'm missing. Taking a real estate course, and $400 was the cheapest one I could find, and I put my daughter through one that cost a bit more than that. You have to take the exam, and if you're lucky, just once. There is activating your license. You have to get fingerprinted, joining NAR, the National Association of Realtors. Then there's the application fee if you're new to it. You have to pay for the MLS access for the area that you're in. Then there's the Supra Key, which has an annual cost and a setup fee for the first year. And so far, all I've mentioned is the money. What about all of the time that you're going to spend taking that real estate course? Or every 2 years, taking the 90 hours to recertify. And it could be different in each state, but it takes time to actually learn this business. Instead of hiring an agent, relying on them, letting them pay for all of those fees, letting them earn their 3% that you're trying to save. And since they're in a brokerage, the brokerage is usually taking half of that. So you're really saving 1.5% to spend all of this money and all of this time to be able to do that. And I'm not sure about you, but my goal is to buy investments, not to buy another job. So if you're like me and you don't want to buy another job and you think that I'll just be an agent that only handles my deals, so it's not really a job, think about what you're doing. You're hiring an agent that only does 1, maybe 2 deals a year. Think about this. If it wasn't you, if you weren't the one being the agent, would you want to hire a real estate agent that did 1 or 2 deals a year and that was their entire exposure to being a real estate agent? Would you trust their expertise at that point? Then why do you think you can trust your own expertise at that point? The doctor who operates on himself has a fool for a patient. And if you were ever sued and you had to go to court, in most cases, it's legal for you to represent yourself. But would you want to? And think about the real estate agent world. How regulated that is. As a buyer, I don't even need to know what those regulations are. I can make offers, I can ask sellers questions, I can talk to appraisers, I can do all kinds of things that an agent's not allowed to do because of all the rules that are in place that I don't even need to know. That makes it a lot easier for me to feel confident when I'm making an offer. Because I know I'm working with an agent that does know all of those rules, that follows all the regulations. So anytime I'm asked, are you ever going to go get your real estate license? I answer, I could totally go do that, but not today. Because my goal is not to buy another job. I'm buying an investment. I've worked next to my handyman and I've figured out that I could do most of the projects that I've hired them for. I could learn how to replace a roof. I grew up working in the tree service industry. I could trim the trees at all my properties. But I'm not going to be doing any of that. I'm happy to hire the professionals to handle those types of tasks. And I'm happy to hire a real estate agent. And I'm happy when they make their commission. Because every time they make a commission, that person is motivated to bring me the next deal. So I probably could save some money if I did a lot of these things myself. But everything that I take on myself adds to my workload. So each new property that I invest in would increase the workload. I'm way too lazy to be motivated to increase my workload by buying more jobs. Having systems in place that makes it very easy for me to buy a property because I have people to handle all of the things that are going to come up and I'm just going to benefit from the cash flow makes it really easy for me to keep adding properties. And the easier we make something on ourselves, the more likely we are to follow through. If you're ready to buy a rental property and you want to know the steps from start to finish and what that process is going to be like, I made this video. You should go check it out now. I hope I made it worth your time clicking on this video today. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk. Are you still here? You didn't click on the video. You should do that.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.